How do we go from Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall, to Donald Trump saying that? Over this past weekend, J.D. Vance went on various media outlets and he was asked about Ukraine and Russia's unlawful invasion. This past weekend, J.D. Vance blamed Ukraine and NATO. Blame NATO. NATO's fault. Here, play this clip.
Quickly before we go, I want to touch on foreign policy as well. Ukraine, you have been very vocal in saying, you know, the resources and the tax dollars that are going there, you have serious questions about whether the American people are being told the truth about Ukraine's ability to actually advance there. Now, we know there are all kinds of reports this week. They've actually advanced into Russia. They're taking prisoners. They're taking territory. So has your view on that changed at all? And what about Senator Coons' assertion that you and President Trump aren't going to be faithful to NATO? You're not going to be faithful to foreign policy alliances, and that allies shouldn't be able to count on you?
Well, what Chris Coons is saying, look, I like and respect Chris, but he's just wrong here. What Donald Trump and I have said is that there shouldn't be a free lunch for Europe or anybody else. America is not the policeman of the world, and NATO should be a military alliance where Germany, France, and all these other countries pay their fair share rather than relying on American taxpayers to subsidize their defense so they can have generous welfare states while American veterans are sleeping under park benches. It's ridiculous, Shannon. We want NATO to be a real alliance, and the way that it's going to be a real alliance is for Europe to pay up, to do what's necessary, and to allow us to focus on the most pressing foreign policy challenge we have had in nearly a century, and that is China. And that is what Donald Trump and I are going to focus on: rebuilding American factories, bringing more manufacturing jobs back to this country, not allowing the Chinese to build their middle class on the backs of ours. And importantly, if we do that, we will be in a better position to stand up to China for the next 50 years in this country. That is what we've got to focus on, and that's the most important foreign policy problem.
Well, we look forward to the president talking more about those tariffs, exactly how they would work. Senator.
And that's the thing. That's what he is sounding like, what he speaks like. That's not how Republicans ever talked before. Not how Democrats ever talked before. That's not how Americans have ever talked before. I know that's been kind of normalized in Putin's capture and MAGA's capture of the Republican Party, but that just ain't something that we should be okay with here in the United States of America. So we're going to keep on highlighting that stuff.